Top 5 gadgets that lie to you every day. Back in the old days, we didn't have all these gadgets to tell us how full something was or how hot the day was. We just looked at the thing or noticed how much we were sweating. Now that we have all the fancy gauges and buttons, we may just be a little bit over-dependent on them. As it turns out, many of these gadgets are scarily inaccurate or even deliberately configured to lie to and appease us. Here are 5 gadgets that lie to you every single day. Number 5. Office thermostats are at number 5. Of all the workplace conflicts people usually talk about, this thermostat wars might just take the cake in pervasiveness and vitriol. One vocal segment of people are too damn cold and another angry segment are too damn hot. Saboteurs from each group sneak up when the other group isn't looking and turn the thermostat up or down, which would wear out the building's HVAC system in a day. If the thermostat actually did anything, that is. Luckily it doesn't. Building facilities people know better than to trust us employees with those controls. One specialist estimates 90% of office thermostats do absolutely nothing. In an industry poll, 51 out of 70 respondents said they'd personally installed a fake thermostat. And psychology is a beautiful thing. Apparently for most people, just turning a dial on a thermostat can make them physically warmer. One bank installed 3 fake thermostats, one for each complaining teller, and they were all completely satisfied with their personal temperature controls. Number 4. At number 4, we have the trusted GPS navigation. If the only thing you used a GPS device for was to tell you where you were, there would be no problem. Most GPS devices are accurate to within 1 meter, which is pretty amazing if you consider this is some machine in outer space telling you where you are. Unfortunately, most of us use GPS systems to tell us where to go, which is where we start to put a lot more faith in them than we should. Programs aren't always smart enough to account for construction or scary cliff roads or other human elements. We've all heard stories about people who appear to lack all common sense, obeying a GPS order to turn right and driving down some railroad tracks, only to be surprised when they run into a train. All the technology in the world can't do anything for you if the map it's given to read is wrong. And you can bet the map companies aren't sending people out to drive and check every single road they're feeding into the computer. So especially in the case of rural and less traveled areas, there are a ton of non-existent roads sitting in the computer just waiting to be traveled by some poor sucker. Number 3. Coming in close at number 3 are speedometers, another device we rely on which is vital to not being caught by cops. We mean vital to keeping our driving at a legal speed so we can be safe and responsible drivers who don't endanger ourselves or others. The bad news is that your speedometer is very likely lying to you. But the good news is that it's probably erring on the side of caution if you're going 70 miles per hour, which of course you wouldn't because very few speed limits are above 65. The average speedometer would read 71.37. But again, there's no legal troubles with your speedometer being too fast. What you have to worry about is if the cop's speedometer reads high, since they often verify your speed by matching speed with you. Number 2. Raising your blood pressure, and number 2 are, but of course, blood pressure cuffs. If you've been to the doctor at all, you know they pretty much always have someone take your blood pressure before you go in to see the doctor. That's why it's kind of disturbing that 30 to 40% of blood pressure cuffs are wrong by 4 millimeters Hg pressure units or more, and 10% are off by 10 or more. The doctors in that article estimate that consistently high misreadings of by just 5 could double the amount of patients being treated for high blood pressure, meaning some people would be gulping down pills they don't need, suffering side effects for no practical reason, and paying for it to boot. They can't just bias it one way like the speedometers earlier, because consistently low misreadings by 5 would remove 2/3 of current high blood pressure patients from treatment and leave them in danger without realizing anything was wrong. Also, if you're fat, using a regular sized cuff on you would overestimate your blood pressure by about 6. Number 1. And gadget number 1 are cell phones. Cell phones actually lie to you about 2 things: battery life and bars. When it comes to battery life, phones often lie to you, like the government, for your own good. The main issue is that most cell phone batteries are never kept at 100% charge, because being at 100% charge can do long-term damage to the battery. Instead, phones are made to charge up to 100% and then let the battery drain up to 10%, and it will rest in that state until you take it off the charger. The cell phone bars that indicate signal strength are also lying to you in a number of ways. The simplest one is that in most cases, the bars have nothing to do with signal quality. PC World tested cell phone service in 13 cities and found that only one city showed a correlation between bars and service quality. In another city, only 13% of their test calls showed any relationship whatsoever between bars and quality. Not everything on your phone is sweet lies though. Your Angry Bird score is probably accurate.